Hey everybody, welcome to FPP Live. I'm going to go ahead and let everyone know why we're here. We have a really awesome couple of guests tonight, Nate and Jeremiah. And we're just going to talk about everything we always talk about here, which is life and queerness and art and all of that. I'm Emma, and this is the Future Perfect Project, if you're new here. And what we do... I'm back. The internet's a scary place. You can disappear. What we do is provide free arts programming for LGBTQA plus youth because we believe that, the artistic self-expression of queer youth is a declaration of a better future for us all, which we love that. And Nate joined, and so we're going to let Nate and Jeremiah into the live. Here we go. Here we go. Hello.
Hello. How are you?
Pretty good. Miss you. I'm catching all the virtual kisses from the screen.
You weren't supposed to be a high-powered activist. You were supposed to help us with our kids.
No, I was born to be your nanny for sure. I can do
What
both.
happened here? It's not too late. Right. If you want to save the world, start in our basement.
I've been told that in order to save the world, you have to start in a basement. That's what I've been told. So maybe I'm doing everything all wrong, but I'm glad to have you. Thank you for making time for us.
Thank you for having us.
We're happy to be here.
Let's just do intros kind of in the way that we usually do them here. We are the Future Perfect Project, and for people who don't know that are just tuning in now, all four of you, welcome. We provide free arts programming to queer youth, which is so special and so awesome and such a privilege. And we want to connect queer youth with people like you who are under the LGBT umbrella and are successful and are making their art and doing the thing. And so that's why you're here today at the Future Perfect Project. You can't see the whole show with the live, but
I like it.
But the way we introduce ourselves usually is our name, our pronoun, how we're feeling and where we are. So I'll go first and then I'll kick it off to you. So okay. I'm Emma and she's feeling excited in Philadelphia.
Good. I'm Jeremiah and he's feeling optimistic in New York City.
I'm Nate and he's also feeling optimistic in New York City. I think we're in for a beautiful January and a lot of turmoil, but a lot of exciting things at the same time.
I love that. Thank you for not just copying the feeling, but kind of turning it into your own.
Yeah.
No problem.
Ooh, can you see and hear me? You froze up a little bit.
Yeah. Can you hear us?
You see?
Oh, no.
What happened?
We can hear you.
Can you see me again and hear me?
You're frozen now, but now you're back.
Now you're blinking. You're perfect.
I'm blinking. I love that I'm blinking. Okay, sorry about that. I roasted you, Nate, for copying Jeremiah's feeling, and then the whole thing froze, which was kind of karma.
Amazing.
So to start out, since we are a queer company, what does queerness mean to you? And if you don't enjoy that as a label, which is totally valid, what does being gay mean to you?
Sure. It's interesting. I think it's a journey. I think it's indicative of a journey that every queer or gay person is on. I think that it takes a tremendous amount of energy and self-knowledge and effort to, I'm not going to use the word normalize. That would be the normal word that I would reach for, but I don't think that applies in this situation. But to acclimate to a world that's not necessarily designed for us. And so by saying that, I think, one of the great lessons that I've learned coming out in college as a gay man and living my life, obviously openly with the man that I love and our two children, and building a life that was based on transparency and authenticity, is that I think that to be gay, you're taught from a very early age to be a really terrific liar. And I think that there's an amazing, you know what I mean? There's like
Yes,
a
I do.
skill set. There's a skill set around that. There's a skill set around making sure you don't dance to this way, or you don't
Yeah.
dress to this way, or, you know, and I think
Why are you looking at me when you say all these things?
I'm not. I'm looking at Emma. But I
Why are you
think
looking at me?
Yeah,
because
exactly.
you're hosting.
Okay.
But I think, you know, what's funny about it is that I think the road back to self-worth and authenticity, once you find and realize that you're worth it and that everything good sort of in life is born from that, is so worth it. And it's such a hard, bumpy, scary road. And intimacy is hard and scary, and marriage is scary sometimes. We don't think it's hard, but you literally just said that to me yesterday, and now you're like now on the Future Perfect Project, you're like telling the world.
We're all trying to be a little cool for the live. It's okay.
So anyway, I think that's what it means to me. I think it means a journey. I think a journey into self-acceptance, and a journey into knowing your worth, and a journey into living your life in a way that's not compartmentalized, and in a way that's that is really, really proud and altruistic.
And I love, Nate, I'm Jeremiah, I want to hear what you have to say, but I love, Nate, that you said, like, it's, you know who you are the whole time, but you have to hide it. And so it's about coming to a place where you can not only know who you are, but like live that out rather than cloak it in whatever like straight dancing you have to do at the dance so nobody knows that you're
do.
queer.
But by the way, even you, and I know your entire family, and it is at your bat mitzvah, I said this is the gayest bat mitzvah I've ever been to in my entire life. Everybody from,
I feel like it's a fine line in a bat mitzvah anyway.
Well, it always,
I know bat
this
mitzvahs
one
in Judaism
particularly.
inherently queer, I feel like.
I feel like it's, yeah, for sure.
You think so?
Queer for me is just fucking fantastic. And I think what's interesting about queer is that it's everyone, gay, straight, trans, bi, you name it. You know, and the beautiful thing about what's happening culturally right now, largely because of your generation, and hopefully because of some of the things that we are trying to help do, is people are finally starting to see physical representations of themselves, advocates in all sizes and ages that are coming out and saying, here I am, I don't give a fuck what you think about me, and having the courage to do that. And I think one of the things that Nate and I have always tried to do is live openly and honestly. You know, when we were growing up, I never saw a family that looked like ours represented on television. I never even thought it was possible. I thought I was gonna be alone in the hills with a lot of dogs and maybe a crop top. I don't even like the crop top, but it was a thing. That's what everybody had. Still don't have a thing against crop tops, but I didn't understand that I could craft a journey and an experience based on love with somebody that I chose that felt authentic. And I think that's really interesting. And I love that our daughter's growing up in a time where she's like, of course guys can wear dresses and makeup and do their nails. And sometimes guys are born a guy, dad, and then they want to be a woman because they're supposed to be a woman. And those are conversations that weren't happening 5 years, 10 years ago. So I'm excited to be a part of this community, and I'm excited to be an advocate for change and awareness, and get to talk to people like you who are changing the world. It's really exciting.
Oh, well, thank you for that response and for that compliment. The young people we work with are really changing the world. And like, I thought I came out late, and then everyone who's older than me is like, no, you came out so early. And then all the young people I work with are like, so in fourth grade, I thought I was this. And then in third grade, I thought I was this. And I was like, third grade, what?
I know. Third grade, I was just picking my nose.
I know. I just want to say that anyone who still picks their nose and is over the age of third grade, like, we validate you, we see you.
Yeah.
Nate, cool, very vulnerable of you.
Yeah, I'm Nate. I'm gay, and I pick my nose.
I don't want to know.
Okay, well, you're in quarantine, so you must have known. But we can talk about that in private. So we're called the Future Perfect Project because we think that young people are living in a future that has not yet arrived. Like, from your children, like, knowing about queerness and like having it be normalized for them, like, that's the future to me. And so I wonder if there were moments where you two felt growing up like, oh my gosh, I'm so living in the future. Like, there's a piece of me that's not being accepted. And I'm like, I can't wait until it's like 2020 so I can do X, Y, and Z. Like, were you like little aliens? Were you like, I'm from the future?
Yeah. Yes. I didn't equate it to my sexuality because there hadn't been that type of verbiage for But I definitely knew that the life that was going to craft for myself didn't look like anything that was around us. I think the beautiful thing about what's happening right now, is to what I said, is the idea that we're really seeing each other and listening to each other in a way that's never happened before. I mean, just when you deal with HIV awareness and the stigmas that are kind of behind that, these important conversations that are happening now, that's what we're excited about and what we're looking forward to. But I still feel like an alien. I just now found an alien partner.
Good. It's
Weirder
good to meet other aliens.
Based on recent dermatological advancements and my opting into those, I'm not an alien.
Yes, he's made out of something from another planet.
In all fairness, I am made out of a similar material to an automobile tire, but that's for another, Yeah. And I'm free with that. Yeah, lucky you, exactly.
Okay, so you're not an alien. You are an alien. We're all aliens.
Yeah, 100%.
I think we all are.
I think everybody at some point in their lives feels like an alien.
Mm-hmm.
And the beautiful thing about an authentic and honest future, and one that you're crafting based on your own truth, is leaning into that. I love the idea of an uncertain future and one that can craft and change at any moment. We're kind of watching it right now in the country.
Yeah.
We have to consciously be tapped into that experience and participate in that experience. So I don't know. I think it's great.
What do you think?
Ask.
Question two. What do you think? So you work with these kids. You're sponsoring them. Basically, the Future Perfect Project is underwriting these experiences for them. So what do you think is what's been the most meaningful connection you've had, and what's the most challenging about working with kids that queer kids who are coming to you? Are they, what's the hardest part? What's the most rewarding?
Yeah, that's a great question. Well, I want to plug the Trevor Project because we provide arts and we provide programs that strengthen you as an artist. And the Trevor Project, what they do is provide support to people that are struggling and are in pain. And so I want to plug the Trevor Project and say that that's a resource to anyone who's watching who's feels like they're in a tough spot. In terms of what we do, we really want to nurture artists and nurture young artists that are kind of coming into themselves as artists. And so the best thing that I've learned from them is that they are allowing themselves to change. And so when I came out, I was really scared that I would wake up one day and be something else. And it ended up happening. And it probably will happen again. And so I've learned that permission to change from them. And I think the challenging part when I first started working with young people was not understanding that you're allowed to change. And so once I gave myself permission from learning from them, I wasn't so I didn't feel like I was up against them and trying to fit everyone into a box, because that's so whenever queer people gatekeep and tell people what they should be in, wait, we are all queer because we don't want that, right? Mm-hmm. And so that's been really special.
That's fascinating.
I love that.
I do too.
Yeah, I mean, I know not that this is the route to coming out, but I thought I was bi at first, and then I was I'm 100% a lesbian, and then you see a picture of Harry Styles and you're how could I ever be a strict lesbian, because that is a beautiful person and I'm attracted to that.
Harry Styles is also a lesbian.
First of all,
right, in many ways Harry Styles is
don't talk bad about him around me.
I'm not. I'm saying I'm.
No, not you, him.
Oh.
He made me want to get a pearl. Never mind. Sounds bad. But
No.
Oh, a pearl necklace?
Yeah, Jeremiah came in one day. He's like, "Do you think I could wear a pearl necklace or a Chanel necklace?" And I was like, "No, I don't know."
Okay, well, if you want to feel safe, seen, and celebrated, you can wear your pearl necklace to the Future Perfect Project.
Thank you for caring about me.
Yeah, I care about you. I think Nate does too, but are you maybe a little jealous that he's going to look better in the pearl necklace than you? Is that what's kind of going on?
You can let it out.
Listen, lady, if I wanted a pearl necklace, I'd be wearing a purple necklace.
Right.
I'd be wearing a pearl necklace.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I would be.
Okay, back to you. Thank you for interviewing me in my interview with you. I loved it.
Can't help it.
I'm wondering, what part of yourself were you most afraid to celebrate when you were younger? What were you like as young people coming into yourselves?
You go first.
I was really sensitive. I was a big lover, and I've always felt things very intensely. I had a kind of tumultuous childhood, and also that compounded with the fact that I was obviously closeted. I hid a lot of that vulnerability and kindness and sweetness away, and was kind of a little tougher, which is hard to imagine with my current haircut. But at the time, it was, and for a long time, probably until I was, in my 20s, I had a really hard time being vulnerable and kind and opening up. I was very kind of guarded. Now I cry every 5 seconds about everything.
Which we love that.
Thanks. I can't help it. So I think that would probably be, it took me so long to find myself, just because I had, tried to be 300 different versions of myself for everybody around me. And it turns out I was just gay.
Yeah. And containing multitudes.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, what am I going to be today? Skater?
Right.
Nah, I don't like to skate. I mean, I just don't.
Mine was so typical for like a young gay kid growing up in a suburban Midwestern town. I mean, I was interested in fashion, interior design, jewelry, style, celebrities, like, fancy travel. And meanwhile, I was like in Minnetonka, Minnesota, reading my mother's like People magazines, going, wow, okay, this doesn't feel right. This doesn't feel right at all. It definitely was an interesting journey because I grew up with a mother like not dissimilar to your mother, like who was very stylish and aware of the art world and the fashion world and the PR world and decoration and styling and all of that. And so it was definitely like around me my entire life and childhood. My thing was that I had to pretend I wasn't really as interested in it as I was. And I thought that that would be like a shoe-in for being gay. And as a designer now for like 25 years, which is a horrible thing to say out loud, hence.
No, we embrace it.
Well, see, I don't. See dermatologist comment earlier in this Instagram live.
I know.
But I will say this though, when I think back on the decisions that I made to hide my sexuality, I didn't go to design school. I could have gone to Parsons or FIT. I could have gone to RISD. I didn't do any of that because I thought if I declare that as a major, it's like everyone's going to know I'm gay. And I didn't go to school for fashion or estate jewelry or any of the things that I'm really passionate and interested in, antiques and all of that, because I just felt like it was basically coming out without coming out. So, I don't have any regrets in life, but except for that actual one, I would have loved at such an early age to have been comfortable enough and proud enough of myself to make decisions that could have been in line with the way that my life turned out now. And I think that could have been a really, really cool thing.
It's so interesting. Like, well, I'm going to bring up like a very like Gen Z millennial thing. That's like, there's a meme that whenever someone on the internet like posts something like, oh, well, I wouldn't go to fashion school because it's gay, or like men talk about like feeling emasculated by recycling, people will come back and say like, fellas, is it gay to recycle? Or like, fellas, is it gay to like pursue your passions? And that's like, so that's all I can think of when you're like, your fear of expressing yourself through your major and through what you want to study and your passions. It's like this almost fear of being gay. I mean, that's why I didn't do GSA in high school, because I was like, I don't want people to think I'm gay. Like, love you guys, but
right.
Well, it's the same thing when it comes to, being a young man and this idea of toxic masculinity, like this heteronormative idea of like what strength is, and you go through the process, hopefully, as most people do, of coming out, and you find your voice and you realize strength isn't just about picking up a chair. Strength is also having the power to be emotional and to be vulnerable and to be open, courage, what that means. It's all relative. And I think the beautiful thing, hopefully, about what you're doing and the artists and the people that you're showcasing is that they're helping craft a narrative that's going to reach even more people, and give more people the voice and the strength that they need to not spend 10 years in turmoil over it. That's the truth. That's the hope.
yeah.
And art is such an interesting place, by the way. Art is such an interesting place of permission. It's always been historically, literally since like the 14th century, like an artist could be anything they wanted to be. An artist didn't have to use the right fork at the dinner table, because an artist, could craft their own manners and move throughout the world in a way with a freedom that very few other sort of careers or métiers or interests or whatever were granted. And so to be able to connect queer youth with art as a road to self-acceptance, to permission, to advancement, to money, to whatever it is that their goals are, is a really ingenious way of creating like a freedom trail for something that has been like that for centuries, truly centuries.
Well, I'm glad you're on board, and I have to shout out one of our co-founders, Celeste Lacine, also co-founder of the Trevor Project. So, they've been doing this for a long time and have been around queer youth for a long time. And all of us that work here are autobiographical artists. We see the power in telling our own stories and want to share that with other people. So just a little bit about what we're doing right now. Just today, I was listening to demos of an album that we're making with our young people. We set them all up with queer songwriters and music makers and rappers and producers, and they're making their own music. And it's such a cool thing, because when I was starting to write my own music, I was like, you have to be a man to you have to be like a straight man with a beard to run the soundboard. But we have a queer woman mixing a lot of the music and producing it. And so it's just a cool thing. Like when you see it, you can be it.
Love that.
That's really cool.
Amazing.
Yeah. How do you get to tell your story through your art and what you do?
What's interesting, you say autobiographical artist. I kind of feel like that's what we are. Design for us is our medium, but we've always believed, when we started our design show, it wasn't so much about coming in and doing people's living rooms as it was about us as a gay family showing a large part of this country, a family like ours. Television is a really safe place for people to learn, because you do it in your living room without anybody watching, and it's kind of a judgment-free zone. And we've always been very cognizant of that. All we care about is authenticity, both in our personal lives, with how we raise our children, with each other. We always hold each other accountable. And the same goes for work. Nate's been saying it for years, your home should tell your story. I always believed that have always believed that your home should be a physical representation, the physical manifestation of who you are, who you were, who you are now, maybe even who you want to be. Home is so much more than just making your house look like that page of a catalog. And that's, I speak for both of us, but that I think is what fuels us creatively.
Totally. And Nate, that's your answer too.
Oh, obviously. I mean, we're married.
Right.
I would say that it's more like, for me, yes, a lot of that obviously is also true for me. But I think, what's been sort of fascinating is that I've been on television for a really long time now, comparatively. It's almost like 16 or 17 years, I think. And when I started, I'll tell you actually a funny story about it. But after I lost my partner in the tsunami, and I went on the Oprah show to tell the story of that, which I know you saw, it was a fascinating moment for me, because I had never been gay or not gay on the Oprah Winfrey show ever. I'd just been me. Mm-hmm. And so about a year or 2 years after that, Oprah started this series called something Fridays. I can't remember what it was called, but she asked me to be on the panel. And on that, and in a pre-show meeting with Gayle King and Oprah, Gayle turned to me and she said, well, one of the topics that we're going to talk about is gay marriage was just passed in Iowa, first state to pass it. And she said, what do you have to say about that, Nate? Because I'm going to ask you about that on the show. And I said, well, I think this and I think that, and I'm, cheers to Iowa, and I think it's amazing, and I think anyone who wants to get married should be able to get married and be protected by the law. And she said, I don't think that the audience knows that you're gay. And this was 2 years after the tsunami.
I know.
Well, babe, you were watching.
Yeah.
Come on, babe. Anyway, yeah.
I know.
Yeah, you knew. But I will say, I didn't know, by the way, Emma. Um,
Okay,
about
my
Gail.
mom said that you did know, so we need to have a chat about that.
Well, when she said I want to talk to you about Emma, then I knew.
Okay, fair,
Yeah.
fair.
Sounds like a book.
Yeah, it was. It's totally. Let's talk about Emma. But the point is that Gail was convinced that even though I had come on and talked about the loss of my partner in that episode, that the audience didn't identify me as gay, and I was like, wait, I'm a decorator. Look at my hair. Like, what's happening here?
There's still a lot of ladies out there who don't recognize you.
But it was literally like Luther Vandross is all those ladies in the audience at the concert thinking Luther's singing directly to them, and it was such a funny thing because Gail sort of made me say it again on TV, and I did. I was totally comfortable with it, obviously, but it was really interesting to see when you're on television as a gay man and now as a gay couple or a gay family, how few people actually are paying attention to your sexuality. When you're doing what you love to do, when you're putting forth into the universe what's important to you that intrinsically matches your values internally and your moral code and your desire to do good work and to please people and help them, sexuality seems to sometimes really kind of take a back seat.
Well, we're also very digestible gay. You know, we're made for TV gay, which is why I'm serious.
Queer eye vibes.
But I'm saying you see a lot of the trans youth are going through hell every single day because it's not easy for people to understand and it's not easy for people to learn, and there isn't a lot of visual representation. So because of that, we try to take what we can to encourage people and they're talking about the power and the safety of learning through television to really open their eyes to something else. So we're cognizant of that.
That's why it's so important, like shows like Pose that Ryan Murphy's doing, and it's that level of visibility that 5 years ago would not have been possible.
I appreciate you normalizing seeing like a gay couple on TV, and Jeremiah, I appreciate you acknowledging like we're like a easy gay to look at if you are homophobic. Like
we're not too offensive. Like you could have us at Thanksgiving and not be nervous if there's a homophobic aunt because she's gonna be like, oh, they're fine. You know what I mean? And
they're so fabulous. Yeah,
they're funny. They're fine. Look at his hair. It's weird. He's an artist. But I think that like I'm also very cognizant of the fact that that's not the case for a lot of people who are facing all different versions of queer and what we're going through. So we're dedicated to, again, I hate the word normal, but I would like to do everything, and we are trying to do everything we can.
Neutralize it.
Yes, I love to neutralize it.
Neutral's good. I know there's a whole movement right now, and everything has to do with queerness, right? But instead of body positivity, there's a body neutrality movement. And I'm like, that's a lot more attainable for me to be like, let's just not think about, let's just be neutral.
Right.
Let's move on.
Let's put it in N.
Yeah. So I have a question about, I want to tie this back to the youth because we're going to post this on our page where like the most popular Instagram in the whole world for queer youth, our Instagram. And so I want to ask, I've been seeing all of these TikToks. Are you like on TikTok? What's going on there? No. Okay.
I'm too old. I'm going to be 50. I can't.
How is that possible?
It's happening. It's happened.
You look great.
Thanks, Ben. Plastic.
You look great. Thanks,
I
babe.
refuse to join TikTok.
Okay.
Why do you refuse to join it?
Partially because I know myself, and I think I would end up having. First of all, I don't have time. Second, I don't want. I know I would have too much fun with the videos. Like we have a girlfriend who just sits there for hours scrolling through TikTok.
Oh my God, yeah, that's me. But it's been really amazing because I've learned so much, and there's such a huge queer population on there, and they're all giving each other permission to express themselves. And the big thing I'm seeing is people are in quarantine, stuck in their rooms, and are like, I want to make a change. I'm in this space all day, and I want to make it feel like me. And the big things I'm seeing are everyone is getting these LED lights, and everyone is getting these fake vines to put everywhere. And I think that is beautiful and lovely, and like, go you. I'm wondering, okay, Nate doesn't like that. I'm wondering if you, let's say there's like a little lesbian out there who wants to make her room beautiful, like what are your, or like just a young queer person, how do we make our spaces feel like us and feel like our real big ass selves?
Well, it's funny when I look back at my journey as a gay man, the first like physical representation I had of expressing who I was and what I was through my space. I redid my bedroom growing up 10 times. I mean, the walls were this thick with paint. I had painted so much that the moldings you couldn't even see anymore. And it really was like an actual physical representation. You know, your home, aside from art, is like the only other thing, aside from fashion, is the only other thing that you live in that's art, right? And the actual manifestation. So I think taking some choices, taking some risks. I love that somebody's out there with their LED lights and their vines and they're feeling it. Like, I'm into it.
You're into it. What's another way people could feel themselves? Like,
well, okay, can
color.
I take a stab at this? Yeah, color, obviously. But here's the thing. You know, one of the things that I think any room needs, no matter who you are, if you're a young lesbian in quarantine or you're a billionaire in Dubai.
Oh, they're definitely watching.
Right?
Yeah. Hey,
they
Dubai.
are watching. Hey, guys. Hey, Sheikh, whomever. But I would say this, though. I think
Sheikh Googleman.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
But I would say this. I think, first of all, everybody now has like such incredible resources at their fingertips. You can lay in your bed, on your phone, on your laptop, buy vintage things that are one of a kind from Cherish, Etsy, eBay, doesn't matter. You can, you know, download an app and find out what people are throwing away or what garage sales are happening in your town. So, you know, to me,
you can also purchase from other queer youth and other queer actual
artists.
100%. 100%. You can commission a friend who's really talented to paint a mural in your room. But I think, you know, I think that the truth is this. You have to kind of close out the noise of the marketing of what everybody's trying to tell you your home should look like, or you should dress like, or your makeup should look like, or your haircut should be, or whatever. And you have to start digging. You have to actually take the time, if you really want your home to represent you well as you grow and as you change. The best way to do that is to sort of shut out all the noise and immerse yourself online in imagery of historic homes and homes 10,000 miles away from where you live, and periods of time, of fashion, of architecture, of film, of things that are really inspiring to you, that really connect to you on a soul level, and then start chipping away at what that really is. Like, you know, I always say like vintage shopping isn't a team sport. Your mother and I have spent 20 years like doing that, and she always reaches for something and I like try and tackle her and vice versa.
Which vintage were used like 90s.
Well, but
no, I've been shopping with my mom long enough to know not to call something that's old to me vintage.
So the truth is, though, is that those are the kinds of things that you start assembling, you start collecting, you start assembling things that make your heart sing. You start assembling things that go on your nightstand that, you know, you hope 20 years from now, it'll still be something that you remember that afternoon with your friend at that garage sale, or that moment it arrived and you put flowers in that old silver cup or whatever it was.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, to live in a home with objects that are beautiful or a good deal is one thing. But to live in a home with objects that are beautiful and were a good deal, that have meaning to you, that really make your eyes light up when they land on them, or remind you even better of a person or a time or a place that you adore, that's how you really create a space that feels like a grown-up, real way of living. There's things in this house that we live in New York City that have been with him since day one and been with me since day one. And every time we pour water into that set of glasses that we found, or that, you know, cut something on that dish that was given to me as a birthday present, it means something. It's not just stuff. Mm-hmm. It just ceases to be stuff.
I love that. I hope people watching are inspired by that. And I hope the person who told me to take my hand off my face is happy in the comments. Like fame is like I'm not ready. Okay, I have a few more questions, and then we have to wrap up, unfortunately. But someone commented earlier, any advice for my 12-year-old who wants to be a designer, which I think is really cute. And not really just cute, like it's really amazing. Like, go do it. I
Yeah.
don't mean to like be like, oh, cute. Like that was horrible.
Yeah, I
It's
think it's a
cute
really
and amazing.
cute, so cute and amazing. I think, listen, it's a really exciting time for design because people are really understanding the importance of it. You know, it can change people's lives. It can move people through things. It can be fun. It can be serious. And as we're learning, it's all about expression. So much of what the design business was for so long was a lot of old, stuffy people making very expensive homes for very expensive people. And that's changed. And you can live really beautifully in an affordable way now. And people are starting to understand, hopefully, that your home needs to be more than just a shell and needs to be a representation. So I would say get in there, roll up your sleeves, and fight to get a seat at the table. You know, fashion did it for where for so long it was just certain fashion houses that were dominating that industry, and then the artists got in there, and now the industry goes to those young people first because they are driving things forward and moving that needle forward, and that's what design needs. It needs youth, it needs a perspective, it needs rule breakers. You know, we need that. You know, that's what the future is.
And I would say educate yourself. You know, no. I mean it. If you're 12 years old, get online, start researching, figure out start assembling a library of imagery that you find interesting, that you find beautiful. And when you find that image, start researching who created it, what time period it was, what country it was in, what furniture designers were involved, where the lighting came from, start in. You're 12. You have such a jump start on everybody. If you're really passionate and really love it, go to the used bookstore or find them online. Go buy old auction catalogs and dig through all the furniture and paintings and silver and all the things that go into creating a home. But take the time to really, by the time you apply for an internship, if you really do that, you'll have such an edge on everybody who's just like, hey, look at my Instagram.
Well,
Right.
I also love people that say, look at my Instagram.
Well, yeah, everyone looks at everyone's Instagram, but like back it up.
Have the Instagram and have the vintage auction catalogs, right?
Right, for sure.
Have the original Instagram. What is your perfect future for our queer youth and also for yourselves in the world? Like, if we were living in the perfect future, what would it be?
God, I don't know if I don't know what a perfect future is. I've always dreamt that someday coming out obviously doesn't exist, and that the idea of proclaiming that part of who we are is not necessary. You know, that is the future. I like the day that somebody tells me that they're like, Dad, I'm gay, and he goes, okay, you know, walk with you tonight. Like that for me is the future. When we can all start just letting each other be.
Or it doesn't even feel the need to say, Dad, I'm gay.
Yeah.
And it just is not even a conversation.
And, you know,
right.
As far as our, like, you know, we are living a dream right now, the two of us, you know, with two children that are ours and a family that's built out of mutual respect and love and honesty and vulnerability. We're standing on the shoulders of a lot of amazing people and advocates that were out there fighting, not too far from where we live now. Every day marching to make sure that we were seen and heard. So we feel a responsibility to make sure that people see us and hear us. And then I hope that we can help move further generations along to where if you're trans, if you're anything, the idea that you can just be without fear of being persecuted.
Oh, and it might make you happy to know that we had someone come out as straight as at one of our workshops. So things are happening. I know, right? But yeah, because we were referring to everyone as like, oh, we're all queer. And then someone was like, I just have to admit, like, I'm straight. And we're like, you can be queer too. Come on in.
Okay. It's queer that you're straight. That's fine.
Right. It's very queer that you're straight. And Nate, what's your perfect future?
You know, my perfect future is, for me personally, I would say for me personally, it's more of the same. You know, I feel like my job is to protect my family and to make sure that we thrive and to protect Jeremiah and be there to support whatever endeavors he takes on and whatever new chapters come into his world. And also of primary importance is to help put these two kids out in the world so that they can craft their own narrative and know that they are loved, regardless, that they will, in the words of the grand Brene Brown, they'll always have a home here. And I guess my perfect future is for every kid to realize that they always have a home here, and to really have a home here.
So when can we all move in?
Well, you're not, no one else is, no, I mean, no one's moving into this house, but, you know.
A home.
Yeah, like a home, like a home.
But at the beginning of this, you did offer me to live in your basement, so I am going to kind of like hold you to that.
But you took all these different sort of very strange paths that we didn't support, you know, professional singer and all that whole nightclub scenario you went through pre-COVID.
How good does a nightclub sound right now?
I like get anxious at nightclubs because I'm a bad dancer, but like we don't have to talk about it.
Let me just tell you, when this thing is done, I am going out.
I mean, after this, I'm doing anything, and I will meet you there. And
anything.
I may have a high pony like you. You don't know. I may do it.
Oh my god, the high pony is because I haven't gotten a haircut in quarantine, and like it's just down to my butt. And
I'm here for it.
What we really need to do is FaceTime and catch up, because I don't think anyone watching like cares about the length of my hair, other than maybe and my girlfriend's mom that are both watching. Thank you so much for your time and for your generosity and for being so honest. Everyone is freaking out in the comments and loved this conversation. I love this conversation. And to the 12-year-old designer's parent watching, we have free programming, and we're actually, well, tomorrow we're having queer sex ed with this amazing organization called Wise Bodies, and you can learn everything you never got to learn in school, which is an amazing privilege. Thursday we're doing an open mic in a virtual gallery, so you can just come, and it's going to be on Zoom. So
that's cool.
If you have visual art, you can come bring it, and I'll make you co-host, so you can screen share and show us your like color swatches and your like design.
That's super cool.
Yeah, really so cool. We have a lot of, you know, the year's wrapping up and the holidays, and your home doesn't feel amazing for everyone. And so I just want to remind people that you do have a home here at the Future Perfect Project if you want to develop your voice as an artist, or you've already got it and you want to share it.
And how does one make a donation to the Future Perfect Project? Like, for instance, if like Dan Gildersleeve is watching from Baltimore.
Yeah, we're still setting up how to make a donation. My coworker is watching too, so we will bring that up at the meeting this week. But the best thing you can do for us right now is spread the word and email us if you'd like to make a donation, because we're working on a lot of amazing projects to amplify the voices of queer youth, including an animation series, including this album. It's going to be amazing, and I want everyone, you know, to join in and be a part of it. I'd love you to join in on a workshop one day, me and Jeremiah, and
we will do that. We would love to do that.
Okay, amazing. Yeah, and I'm going to be posting on stories how to sign up for our free workshops. I'll send you all the links so you can post too, and just excited to see everyone at our workshops this week.
Amazing.
Thank you.
Thank you for this.
Thank
Big
you
love to all of you guys.
So much. Have a good night, everybody.
Have a beautiful
Bye,
week.
guys.